to tell me about this earlier in the year. She said, "Dad, I didn't know. They just asked me." And at the time, we owned a small logging company in eastern Washington. The logging wasn't that good in Kansas, where I was born. Somebody already cleared up that state. So Washington, the logging was better. And I had a logging company, but anybody that knows anything about the timber industry knows that wintertime is a tough time to log. Up in the mountains, and the snow can be waist deep, and you have to dig down to the bottom of your tree to cut it off at the right level, and the roads can be completely snow blocked, and road restrictions in the spring, so you might have a huge pile of logs out there at the job, but then you can't haul them. If you don't haul them to the mill, you don't get paid. It can be March, April, May before you can start hauling your timber out of the mountains, and it can be tough. You know, you work twice as hard, you make about half as much, and now my daughter, going into this slow season, was asking me for $1,800 that I really wasn't budgeted for, and so I said, well, that's interesting concept here going into winter, and so she kept talking to me about it. And by the end of the conversation, she said something that, and I don't know if this was calculated on her part, or whether this was the Holy Spirit's way of, fathers have certain hooks that work. You know, when your kids say certain things to you, that's it. You know, then they've got you. And I don't know if she knew that or not, but she looked right at me and she said, "Dad, you should go with me." Oh man. I'd love to go to Peru, but now that's not $1,800, that's $1,800 times 2. So if money was going to be a problem in the beginning, it was certainly going to be a problem at the end. Twice as much. So later on, my wife and I were talking about it, and Sandy said something to me also, that, you know, wives don't hook you, they sometimes beat you. And she said, you know, Paul, it's not every dad who has a 15-year-old daughter that wants their father to go along on a trip. Usually the teenage kids are saying, "Dad, you know, this is a school thing, and I know the schools ask you to go, but yeah, all my friends are going to be there, and do you have to go with me? You know, I'll feel like you're watching me the whole time." And, you know, I've heard that speech before, but in this case, my daughter said, "Dad, you know, I'd really like you to go with me." Well, that was that final hook. And Sandy said to me, "Well, we need to put the Lord to the test." And we did. And I don't have time to tell you that whole story. But we went in March of 2000. I just went as a tag-along dad to the Amazon jungle of Peru, the rainforest, right at the headwaters of the Amazon, northeast. If you know anything about Peru, the southern part of the famous mountain region, the Andes run the whole length on the coast, but the southern part of the Andes is Cusco, the most visited city in all of South America. Machu Picchu, the most visited spot in all of South America, now one of the 7 wonders of the world. But that's the other end of our country. I'm up in the north part of Peru, in the Amazon rainforest, elevation of about 600 feet flat. High ground there is when it's 15 or 20 feet higher than the other ground. That's high ground. And it's hot and it's humid, and there are Amazon Indians in the jungle, and there's a city of over 500,000 people surrounded by hundreds and thousands of square miles of Amazon jungle.